It's SEC softball from Bogle Park on an overcast Sunday afternoon. The Kentucky Wildcats, Arizona Razorbacks finishing off the series, starting a little bit early today, and the Hogs trying to get out of here with a sweep. Let's take a look at the SEC standings, and some of this might not make sense. LSU and Oklahoma and Texas at the top, but Alabama, Georgia, they've struggled a bit. Both of these teams are 5 and 6. Winning that series at Tennessee was big, even though they lost the game on Monday. It was a one-run game. Hutchins drives one to center. Reagan Johnson turning and running. She's out of room. It's on the berm, and it's gone. Allie Hutchins starts the game with a Kentucky home run, her 5th of the season. And that got out of here in a blink of an eye. So a long at bat, she kept fouling on pitchers from Berline and then homers for UK.
And for Hutchins, what a quality at bat right there. Seeing a lot of pitches from Berline, fouling the pitches off, and then she steps up big. That is setting the tone right there with one swing right off the bat. That ball is out of the ballpark.
And it was not a bad pitch. It was at the knees, maybe the bottom of the zone, maybe caught too much of the plate.
To the dugout. And just within these first 2 at-bats from Hutchins and Blum, they are so aggressive.
Good pitch. Kennedy Miller threw that around the horn even before our plate umpire Shane Jackson rung up Blum, but that was just a perfect.
Haven't shaken up where she's able to put them in different positions. But I think last weekend against Tennessee and this weekend against Kentucky, we've seen that more.
And it looks like Berline has found that pitch, back-to-back strike threes looking, and again Miller fires it around the horn, but this thing it just lands perfectly for strike 3. And here's Peyton Plotz. Grounds one sharply to Davison at second. She will throw out Plotz to end the inning. But Hutchins had the homer to start the scoring, and the Razorbacks come to back.
More towards the 5-6 hole at any point today. All 3 of her hits yesterday were ground balls through the 5-6 hole.
It was like the old VCR days, rewind and repeat. Does she have the speed to beat that out? She is safe, and that was close, and I don't think she got as much career.
99, which is insane.
It's more interesting. Now Johnson's going to run, and that was the perfect time for a sneak attack, and it's hard to lose track of Reagan Johnson, but I think
for success when she steals.
Hard hit to second. Donaldson there to make the play. Throw out Kramer. But it shows you how big that stolen base is. You can get a runner to third with 1 out where a fly ball could tie the game.
And for
Band or Chase. Ball lifted in the air to center. Left fielder Blum will glide in front of Sullivan to make the catch. Johnson will tag and score, and Arkansas manufactures a run. The bunt hit, the stolen base, the ground out, and the fly out, and it's 1-1.
And right there, Brett, that is textbook softball. Getting on base, advancing, hitting the ball to the right side of the field, and then a sac fly to drive in the first run of the game.
Didn't have the benefit of fall practice either. It wasn't like she was in exhibition games against other teams or her own pitchers. She was working with the 12 and 14-year-olds in the Houston area. Courtney will take a walk.
You know, time for them to get going.
And a wave to miss. Good pitch from Carson Fall to get Wyckoff to chase and get the strikeout to end the inning. Arkansas gets a run and an Ellis sac fly and ties things up as we go to the second.
Utilizing her changeup, and it starts at one plane, and she has the capability of keeping it there through the strike zone and then also throwing it at the lower part of the zone for a ball, just like that.
Like that, for example. Strikeout number 3.
Speed changeup.
That one's lifted to center, and Reagan Johnson will backpedal to make the catch. Reisner flies to Reagan for the second out. Rachel Lawson coaching the Kentucky Wildcats. Recruits and whatnot. They've not had to worry about that at Kentucky for a while. There's a dribbler to McDowell. She has to throw on the run. That's a nice play. All of her momentum coming towards the plate, but able to scoop and throw to first to retire. 2-1 the count to McDowell. Hard hit, base hit into center. I was so used to seeing Ella play in travel ball, and she was such a. I'm with you. I really enjoy watching her play shortstop. I think she's got a tremendous arm. Reesner will take her herself and gets the double play. She had a DP, I think it was last weekend, just a gorgeous glove flip to second. I think she was looking to do the same thing. 3-2 the count. Hammered in the left for a base hit. That double play looms a little bit larger. So Carly's had a big offense.
Get exactly what you're saying.
Sometimes on a hard ground ball, you boot it. You know, you're used to that happening. I think people say, well, it's in the air, you know, catch it, such as this. And it's never an easy play here at Bogle Park, but the catch was made by Boris O'Leary to win the inning. So the Razorbacks get a couple of singles, but, well, how do you remember that? But I'm not going through as many as the Ellis family is. Emmert, the pinch hitter, is going to send one out into shallow right center. Reagan Johnson calls everybody off and makes the catch and retires Emmert to begin the frame. Rare winless day. Leadoff home run for Allie Hutchins to begin the game. But Berline has retired every hitter since. That one's off the glove of Bree. She'll recover and step on the base. She did need Davis in there to play that deflection. She took it herself. Over to 3-1. And again, she's working that bottom of the zone, Sydney. Try to staying out of the heat area for Hutchins.
Every swing that I took within my college career.
1-2. Sock to center. Back goes Johnson with room. She'll make the catch. Even Blum's outs have been hit hard. Kentucky gets a base runner and they do not score.
Driving the ball into the outfield into the gap with her power slap.
She said she tries not to look or think. She pokes one sharply to short. Reesner then had to hurry the throw and threw it over the head of Boris O'Leary. So even when they didn't have a fifth infielder, I guess this is kind of the softball equivalent there. You know you have to rush and hurry. Takes you out of your rhythm, and she's going to try to steal again, and she is safe again. And we talk a lot about when to go and when not to go. I love taking advantage.
Good pace. And that's something that's not always taken into consideration.
3-2 is a little flare. And watch Reesner go get this one. She got a good break on that soft pop-up and made the catch for the first out.
See her get through extension, not even finish her swing because she's staying that long through the ball. It's what gives them the leverage of hitting the ball so far out of the park.
And there's a swing and a foul tip into the glove of Mitchell. Ellis had just 4 strikeouts all season. 50 pitches for Fall. Lets that one go, and Reagan Johnson had an interesting break off second. I don't know if she was anticipating maybe a dirt ball or she was just getting a good secondary lead, but she was in full stride when that ball was off the glove of Mitchell. Well, Ellis took 3-0. Well, Courtney Day. Doesn't matter, that was outside, ball 4. Arkansas had a couple of hits last inning, but didn't get a runner to second. A couple of base runners and an error this inning at a 1.
Behind in the count, but has had some really great response pitches to get outs.
Yeah, she's not giving in when she's been behind. Wyckoff lines one to short. Reesner in its way. She'll make the catch. Arkansas strands a pair. Generous eye black as well for Madison, who struck out looking in the first on one of those change-ups from Berline. That is a big-time pop-up. And again, very little wind, a lot of cloud cover because I think a storm's moving in, and it was an easy play for Rio to make, and there's one out.
End up separating themselves from the rest of the athletes that they're competing against and with.
Driven to center, back goes Reagan Johnson. She has been busy today. She has visited that warning track on a few occasions. Makes the play, and that's a sigh of relief.
The momentum from weekend to weekend.
Ground ball to short. A little funny spin, but Rio surrounded that ball and throws out Mitchell to end the inning. We'll talk to Courtney Deifel. When you come back, we're still tied at 1 here at Bogle Park. When your hunting velocity might come into effect.
It does, and it definitely changes your approach. More times than not, the speed is going to supply the power, but it's spin that is the most effective.
Catch made by Donaldson. Going to retire. Talk to Courtney Deifel to begin this inning. as Rio hits a big-time pop-up that might come back right on that chalk, and the catch is made by Clark. She told the media during a call this Arkansas has a pitch hitter on deck. And again, she would not give in. And a 2-out walk, maybe not the worst case scenario. Arkansas has stranded 4 in this game, and they've also hit into a double play. You don't feel like you have to swing up the pitches down the middle because you don't want to let a good one go by and then not get one again like that. Mile-high pop-up. Donaldson, right at the edge of the grass, will make the catch. Effect. And then she just paints on the corner to get strike 3 to Reisner. Well, Peyton was the freshman of the week. Arkansas coach Lawson had about Porcelari. She said she logs every at-bat in kind of a memory database. So she's seen Burnham before. Going to pop this one up to Rio. Makes the catch of the soft pop-up, 2 outs. And, you know, we talk about Sundays, and sometimes it's just a matter of it faced with that home run. Another pop-up. A lot of balls in the air. Rio there. She will make the catch. So Burnham had a perfect top of the 5th. We go to the bottom of the frame on a Sunday. Reagan Johnson's been hard to keep off the bases. Sydney, that's 6 hits this weekend. She's popped up. She's grounded out. Reagan Johnson, though, has swiped a base each of the 2 previous times she has been on base. She's going to try again. 3 for 3 is Reagan Johnson. I couldn't even finish the thought. She was already in motion.
Not something you see at this level of play of 3 stolen bases in a game with the speed of Reagan Johnson. But I'll tell you, Reagan Kramer did a really great job pulling back her bunt, keeping it long through of her circle.
I can't see the ball. Maybe we'll see it here.
Yeah, this is a better angle.
Either she was a hair early or it was perfect. I can't tell which one.
Right.
Is the ball in her hand right there? I don't know.
After further review, the call on the field has been changed. The runner is out. This is the first challenge for Kentucky.
So the
game. Let's take another look at this. This is a great shot right here as her foot has left the bag and Fall has not yet released the pitch.
Hawkeye something. Here comes a payoff from Carson Fall to Reagan Kramer. And that is career walk number 100. She's flipped the odometer over, and it's hard to get 100 walks in a career. That's a lot of free pass. Database. Instead, that's ball 4. How big is that play now with Reagan Johnson leaving early on the stolen base attempt because of back-to-back walks have fouled him? Wyckoff is 0 for 2 today. She's trying to extend her hitting streak to 12 games and put Arkansas in front. Bree Ellis is going to trot to second, and Bree was waiting to see if she could draw a throw. How about a stolen base for Bree? She's celebrating. Was dead. She did do a nice job. Counts full. Huge pitch in this game. Hit hard to first. Porcelari collected it. I think more with the bare hand than the glove. The inning ends, and Arkansas has stranded 7 runners. Booth caught that foul ball. Are you kidding me?
Wow.
I thought it was impossible to get one in that booth.
And the window's open.
Peyton Burnham catches that soft liner.
In right field.
Hutchins, who homered to start the game, hits a pop-up here that Bree Ellis will catch. First time that Hutchins has been retired. 2 outs. Wyckoff has said as a kid, people would say, Blum will line one to third. That's caught by McDowell. City, this was a nice play as well from the freshman. Even though that pitch count is in triple digits, she's been able to sort of pitch this game on her own terms. McDowell drives one in the air, deep center. When this one lands, Arkansas will take the lead. Ella McDowell with the homer. Ready to celebrate with their teammates And the Razorbacks have a 2-1 lead.
By Ella McDowell, with it being a 1-1 ball game in the bottom of the 6th inning. This ball is elevated in the zone. She gets her barrel up and out to that pitch and just drives it. And Carson Fall can see right there the mistake that she made, in Ella McDowell homering right there.
Remember what I said about Ella when she batted previously? So used to seeing her as the home run slugger and how she's kind of fought her way through this year. As Rio bounces one to Donaldson. She won't make the play, and Arkansas with a base runner on the air. Base hit left field. So the first 3 Razorbacks have reached base safely in the bottom of the 6th.
Shanice Dels, Mary Half, Shanice Dels, where they had a few chances of hitting offensively.
Ground ball to third. The out is recorded, and Burnham in her 7th at bat will reach on a fielder's choice. Yeah, Mary got a cut. This is trouble. Can Reagan Johnson beat it out again? Should I even ask rhetorically? I should just let it play out. That is the 7th hit this weekend for Reagan Johnson. Streak, but be curious to see how much she's willing to go after a pitch if it's borderline. Here's your payoff. She will swing. She'll line to first. Borzilleri with the catch, and she'll also get the double play. So Arkansas is going to leave 9 through 6 innings, and they lost a handful on the bases. Sydney, they took the lead, but this was a big play for the Cats to stay within a run.
A huge play for the Cats and for Borzilleri on first base. Really great heads-up decision right there on the hard line drive hit down the line. Shifts the momentum a little bit.
Heart of the lineup, Clark, Plotz, and Mitchell. Ground ball to third. It kicks away off of McDowell, and the Wildcats will get a leadoff base runner. The tying run's on base in the 7th.
And with Arkansas not getting that insurance run.
Plotz is done with the homers and runs batted in. Liner caught and short by Rio. Back to first. How about a double play on the other end? Arkansas hit into a pair, and they return the favor. And that was a bullet right to Rio. Doubled off Clark. 2 outs on 1 big pitch.
What a huge play for the Arkansas defense. Rio shaded a little bit up the middle, gets a good jump to secure that line drive, and then guns it over to first base to Bree Ellis. I mean, this is a huge play, Brett.
But you can't get doubled off in that situation. You have got to see that ball get by Rio. That's hit up the middle and into center for a base hit. So more hits this inning than Kentucky had in the previous 6. Again, it gives them a chance now with Reisner. Borzilleri on deck. And that is ball 4. Obviously, there's a concern now that the tying run's in scoring position. Reisner's power would scare me a little bit. But now Borzilleri will bat close to the zone as Burnham has been with previous batters. What does she want to do here? 3-1. Big pitch. Ball 4. Back-to-back walks to load the bases. 3 straight base runners after the line-out double play. Soft little pop-up towards Davison. She's there. She's got it. And the Razorbacks sweep the Wildcats. They hold on for a 2-1 win on a Sunday. McDowell had the go-ahead homer, and Arkansas got solid pitching all day long.
It's been solid pitching all the way around for the Arkansas Razorbacks between Berline and Burnham coming in and collectively getting the win. This was your classic softball game of being a pitcher's duel with a solid defense, but offensively, it was the home run, Brett, from McDowell that put the Arkansas Razorbacks on top.
Sure was, and boy, Arkansas had all kinds of chances to add to their lead in the 6th. Kentucky had 4 different base runners get on in the 7th without scoring a run.
And in those situations, when you have runners on base, it is critical that you find a way to get them across home plate.